$2,143. What could you do with that kind of money? That's the question. And the other question is, are you leaving that on the table with your tax return? Steve Spangenberg, home-based business tax coach. I'm here to tell you today that what happens when people go to the wrong tax preparer. Now, I don't have anything against any tax preparer. I harbor no ill will towards them. It's based on what they have been trained to do. I deal specifically with home-based businesses. Now, if you don't have a home-based business, if you have just your W-2 and that, fine. Go to, the local H&R Block or the local Liberty Tax or something like that, and get your taxes done. That's great. However, if you have a home-based business, go to somebody who specializes in home-based businesses. Now, I specifically have drugged this out so it doesn't get into my shorts feed because I want to go over this with you. When do you report your business? A lot of people start a business, say they start late in the year, or they start early in the year or middle of the year, and they say, well, I didn't make much money, or it's not worth putting it on my tax return. Well, I run into this problem all the time where preparers say, it's not worth my time to do it because I don't want to go through the hassle. Well, I want to go through the hassle. I want to make sure that every one of my clients gets the best refund that they're entitled to. Not anything that they're not entitled to, but the best refund based on their circumstances. So there's two different amounts. There's a 400 and a 600 that people keep throwing around. Oh, well, if I didn't make over $400, I don't have to do anything. Well, let me tell you about the 400. The $400 is if you make $399, you don't have to pay Social Security tax on it. If you make $400 net income from a business, you have to pay Social Security tax on it. That's simple. The $600 is what you're required to give somebody a 1099 if they make over $600. People get these two items confused, and they think that if they don't make over $400, they don't have to file their business at all. And that's a mistake. And I'll tell you why it's a mistake. Because most people that are in this situation are like a Mary Kay rep or Longevity rep or Tastefully Simple or a home-based business, something like that. So I'll give you the example that I just did. This lady was in Mary Kay, and her tax preparers, didn't really question anything about, her Mary Kay. They didn't say, did you have sales? It came down to, she didn't get a 1099 from Mary Kay, but she had thousands in sales. So there you are. That was income that you received and you should report. All right. Now, what happened was when I took this client on, I said, okay, we're going to put this in your tax return and see what happens because it should be on your tax return. Well, it turned out that, she had a decent amount in sales, a lot more than most people have in sales. And she also had expenses for that year. Well, when you take her sales minus her expenses, she had a paper loss, and that reduced her tax return, her tax liability. And she ended up getting $2,143 refund by fixing her taxes. That was just for 1 year. We have 2 other years to claim her business. Now, if it pans out that it's about $2,000, that's $6,000. $6,000. What would you do with $6,000? My advice to you is if you're in a home-based business or if you're any kind of business, go to the proper person that handles home-based businesses. And if you like your tax preparer, you can keep your tax preparer. Sound familiar? But tell them, I have a business and I want to include it on my tax return. So if you're in a home-based business, go to createmyeconomy.com and find out all the tax deductions that you can take and all the tips and tricks for a home-based business. That's my school account. And it's a whopping $7 a month to join. Unbelievable. And it is a tax deduction. So I hope you got value from this video. I only ask people to like and subscribe if they got value. So if you did, like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.